On May 10, 1945, at a public meeting which included the representatives of all local organizations, Mayor of the village, John C. Blankenhorn, suggested that the community pay tribute to its World War II military veterans by establishing a memorial library. 653 men and women from the Lindenhurst School District and its neighboring unincorporated areas at this time had served in the armed forces, 18 of which had lost their lives. As a result, Mayor Blankenhorn's proposal for a memorial library was unanimously approved. In August 1945, a board of directors was elected for a Memorial Library Association. A year later, a library site was purchased with funds from a Lindenhurst School District subscription drive, the proceeds of various benefit affairs, and cash balances from local wartime efforts. The site was located on the east side of South Wellwood Avenue between Herbert and Irving Avenues. The purchase price was a little over $10,000. In a public ceremony preceded by a parade, the site was dedicated on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7, 1947. Around May 1950, the village of Lindenhurst was seeking a site for new municipal offices. As a result, the village trustees approached the 9 directors of the Lindenhurst Memorial Library Association with an offer. They proposed to erect a library building adjoining a new village hall on the library's South Wellwood Avenue property, if the Library Association agreed to deed the property to the village for $1. The offer was accepted by the Library Association, and on October 19, 1951, taxpayers approved a $142,000 proposition to erect a village hall and library on the site. On January 17, 1952, a meeting was held at which the Lindenhurst Memorial Library Association voted to transfer ownership of the property to the village. 2 months later, on March 28, 1952, the Lindenhurst Memorial Library Association was officially dissolved by a vote of the Board of Directors. By March 31st, a resolution of the Village Board was passed and a village library was created to be known as the Lindenhurst Memorial Library. The groundbreaking took place on August 3, 1952, and the Lindenhurst Memorial Library at 440 South Wellwood Avenue began its service to the community on July 1, 1953. The new facility was jointly supported by the Incorporated Village and School District No. 4. The village supplied the building, utilities, and maintenance, while the school district provided the operating monies for staff, books, and materials. In the early 1950s, Lindenhurst was still in the midst of the escalating post-war population growth. Baby boomers were adding 1,000 children annually to the school enrollments and consequently to the library's membership. At the time, the library section of Village Hall only had seating space for 22 adults and 12 children. Cramped conditions left little room for visitors to move around. Additionally, with limited bookshelves filled to capacity, some 5,000 volumes had to be stored in the attic, in the rear building, and in 2 trailers located outside the structure. Access to the trailers was difficult, very time-consuming, and even hazardous at times. Movie screenings and story hours for children were conducted in the upstairs courtroom during limited periods when the space was available. As a result of the population growth and constant development of new homes and businesses, the Incorporated Village also needed larger quarters for its administrative offices and operating departments. In 1964, voters approved the proposition to convert the library from a village library to a school district library. By 1967, the Library Board of Trustees purchased a 1-acre site at the corner of South Wellwood and Lee Avenue. The new building was dedicated on May 18, 1969. In 1988, due to the steady growth of the library and the increase in demand for more services, the Board of Trustees purchased the home and property adjoining the library, which today provides administrative offices and additional parking. As the end of the 20th century approached, there was concern that without a deliberate effort to honor veterans, both deceased and living, their sacrifices would soon be forgotten. In an attempt to prevent this from happening, the Lindenhurst Memorial Library Board of Trustees began discussing ways in which they could reinforce the message to the community that the library is a living memorial to the veterans who perished in the fight for the ideals of democracy. The trustees inaugurated a project to design and install a series of stained glass memorial windows on the library's Wellwood Avenue window wall. On September 24, 1998, the Windows on Wellwood Project Committee met for the first time. The committee's task was to solicit and review original designs for the windows, select an artist to interpret the design in stained glass, and raise funds for the project. Representatives from the library, the Friends of the Arts, Lindenhurst veterans organizations, and the community were in attendance. Over the course of the year, many people worked to turn this dream into a reality. On November 7, 1999, following the parade in Lindenhurst to commemorate Veterans Day, the memorial stained glass windows were unveiled and dedicated before an excited crowd of several hundred people. The windows completely fill the window space in an area measuring approximately 22 feet by 7 feet on the Wellwood Avenue side of the library building. As part of the fundraising effort for the Windows on Wellwood project, 230 blue and 15 engraved gold stars were bought to honor living or deceased veterans. The gold stars, dedicated to those who were killed in action, are mounted directly on the windows. A special oak cabinet was constructed to house the blue stars. The cabinet, located under 3 small stained glass windows, is engraved with the motto, "For those who served." The cabinet was dedicated before a large gathering of veterans, legislators, and community members on Memorial Day weekend, May 27, 2000. Parking became a problem as the library offered more and more programs. In 2009, the library purchased an empty lot across Lee Avenue. Keeping in mind the area's issue with rain runoff, the library board opted to build a state-of-the-art green parking lot. Built with the help of $200,000 in federal stimulus money, the parking lot is made of permeable paving stones atop a bed of absorbent gravel that soaks up excess water that would otherwise eventually end up in the Great South Bay. Solar panels provide the lighting.